Hi guy, welcome to my top 5 worst PC games of all time ever made video. Oh my god, what a title. I'll cut that down for the end, don't worry. But yeah, the PC is going back, what, 25 years, maybe more now. But most of the really bad games seem to have come out in the last 15, so that's not as big a selection to go through. But there's been so many games to pick from on the PC. I've mainly stuck to the big publishers because everyone would have sort of heard or seen about them. But there's bound to be so many like indie game style developers that I've not even touched upon or even seen before, because there's so many games available for the PC. But if you disagree with me, something you think I really desperately need to see, then stick it in the comments below and I will have a look, and we might even do follow-up videos to it, it depends. But yeah, let's jump right in. Number 5 is nice and simple, is The Sims Online. Now, I was absolutely obsessed with the original Sims games at first. They were so addictive, and I got to a point where I was playing it at one point and I started thinking to myself, about 14 hours on a run through, and I was sat there thinking to myself, I'm spending all my free time playing a game of somebody else's life. And at that point that itch was there and it wouldn't go away, and whenever I started playing it, it kept coming back to me, and after a while I gave up. And I think my last hurrah was looking into it all was was Sims Online. And it was a nice idea, you know. It was The Sims, and in theory it's supposed to go across as the game and being able to talk and interact with others. But basically all it was, and it was so poor at what it did, it was a chat room, and a done up chat room with fancy avatars, but you had to pay for it. But this is back when chat rooms and that sort of thing were 10 a penny. I mean, the whole Second Life, which probably started around about the same time, that's been out since about 2002, 3 I think, maybe 4. Well, the fact is, it was done in other places and for free, and there was always alternatives you could get back in the day, and the whole Sims service wasn't very well done, and EA started playing around with, I think the first one, microtransaction was sort of starting to become a thing, and it was just ridiculous, and it was always down. It wasn't a very good experience, and then what they ended up charging you for and the amount of service you got out was not very good, so it's well deserving of going on the list. Next up on is number 4, and it's probably quite a famous one, and it is Limbo of the Lost, which came out in 2007. And this is basically supposed to be a graphic adventure game, which had been touted by these two guys for years. It's going to be the most fantastic graphic adventure. The script's amazing, and all these great things that were supposed to happen. And then it was basically it sort of turned out to be a con, because they were using it to get money off investors, I think. Something very shady went on about there, and then they just sort of like farted it out eventually in 2007. It was in development for about 10 years because it started on the Amiga. That's how ridiculous it was. It was, yeah. So it would have been about 94, 93 when they first started going on about it. And then when they released it, this was sort of thing, they'd stolen backgrounds and stuff off typical stuff off Google and that, but they were stealing scenes and images and graphics and stuff off other games, and then rejigging it up as if they'd done it and they designed it, and then they were boasting about it on their own forums and stuff. And it's quite funny if you go online and then to read about it now or watch YouTube videos, and people have like dug into it and found out where all this stuff was coming from and how poor it was. And the ending of the game has to be seen. It's so shockingly bad. Every character in the game does like they do a big musical number, but it's so awful. I don't want to ruin it for you, but go and listen to it. Look, it's Limbo of the Lost ending. Just go and look it up. It's absolutely dreadful, but it's worth seeing because it's that bad. Yeah. Moving on, number 3. This is something I had experience with when it came out. It depends on where you lived in the world. I think in the US it was called Indigo Prophecy, or over in Europe it was Fahrenheit. This was a David Cage or a David Crane game. Oh my god, I had it on the original Xbox. It was terrible. When it starts off, it's like a graphic adventure style game. A bit like with a bit of mix of Resident Evil thrown in, and you start off in this diner and somebody gets murdered, and this whole big mystery about all these detectives and how you played the guy and you play the detectives, because you flick. It's very, very clever how you flick back and forth, and it's very involved, and the story really takes root there because you've killed someone, I think, and you can't control yourself, or very nuts sort of stuff. Anyway, but so you escape and they come after you in this whole detective scene, and then it carries on for a bit more, and then I think you get plunged into icy waters in this minute because it's snow in New York in winter, and you end up falling in this pond or something, and when you get back to your flat the story goes off in a different direction. But it's just bonkers. It just it has such a brilliant and amazing and involving opening, and it all just falls away to become this batshit insane stuff. I don't know how to describe it. The story was terrible. The main character ends up sleeping with somebody, but he's actually dead. I'm just ruining part of the story there. But he's only just realised he's dead. He is actually dead. He's like a reanimated corpse. And this woman knows about it, and she still sleeps with him. And it was awful. And it was one of those games that introduced, for the first time in this sort of way, the whole quick time event thing with the big button prompts appearing on screen. Whereas they have controls for like reacting to stuff. Usually they never match, the prompts never match what actually happens. So if he's jumping, it's never what you think will be the jump button. It's a completely different button. And if he's moving left, it'll be like the X button or the triangle or something like that. You know, I mean, if he's moving right, you think it'd be a directional pad, but no, it'd be like the use button normally. It's just press a random button to an event on the screen, and it never really gels. It's filled with moments like that, and it's just terrible. Yeah, it's probably worth checking out though. Number 2. I thought hard about this one, but it deserved it because it took so long to come out, and it's Duke Nukem Forever. I mean, I loved the original game. It was so funny. It was that Evil Dead style humour and over the top 80s action hero. It was fantastic. It was funny, and it was the humour at the time was perfect for the 90s because it's just the way things were. But you know, as years have gone on and stuff, and people change and time changes and stuff, and the character seems very out of place, and it is very, very poor. It never verges past average shooter, which sort of had some clever ideas in it. I mean, one bit in particular is where you get to shrink. So you had to shrink away using and explore the levels, and it was sort of clever, but there's just not enough moments in it, and everything's cringeworthy, and none of it's really any good, and it's just filled with all this over the top sexist stuff, and it's not funny. And the thing is, Duke Nukem was funny. He was awesome, and I'm not sure if it's because it's been all that much longer and we've changed as people. I just don't think that the character in that Duke Nukem Forever is as good as the character that was in the original. It just never worked, and there was so much hype for it after all those years in it. It was like, oh, it's finally here, we finally got it, and I know I was hyped up for it, and then you played it and it was like, what is this? It was terrible. Anyway, moving on. This will be no surprise. I first heard about this one on the AVGN special. I'll probably give it away straight away, but it's Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. It's basically a truck driving game, truck racing game. It's I don't know what else to call it, but oh, it's not complete. It's obvious it's not complete, but then they've pushed it out and claimed it is, and it's got things like, you know, you can drive through the world. You can win the race by driving backwards, I think, around the course, and then you can do things like just drive through the scenery or drive off the edge of the world, but then the edge of the world never finishes, so you just keep driving and driving and driving forever. If you go off the road, you can drive through bushes and trees and nothing touches you. There's no collision detection. Everything is just as if it might as well be there. And that's only if you just go off the road, because you think, oh shit, I better avoid that tree, I better avoid that head. But if you hit them, you just go straight through them. Absolutely ridiculous, and it should never have been released. It's so broken. But again, this is the PC. There's so many bad games out there, so I'm sure you picked much worse than what I have. By all means, stick them in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys soon.